Hi guys. In this next video, we're going to try and show you just the sort of thought process that you can go to when you're trying to figure out what the order of operations is for derivations. What we mean by this is, now that we've given you several tools, using the product rule, using the chain rule, quotient rule, all that good stuff, the question arises, which one do you use first if you're looking at a complicated derivative? The basic idea is to go from outermost function to innermost function. And to demonstrate this, Tiani and I are going to show you how to derive two very similar functions that are still have one important difference. One of them will require that you use the chain rule first and then the product rule, and the other one will require that you use the product rule first and then the chain rule.
So here's the first example. Say we want to take the derivative of sine of x times x plus 1 squared. So since you're such a pro now, you can see that this is both a product and a chain rule. So let's just put this in colors to make it a little more noticeable. So we're doing the product of sine of x times x plus 1 squared. But x plus 1 squared, I will just go over here to show you, is actually, let's do it this way, the chain of two functions. Basically a function in the inside, x plus 1, and the function outside, which raises it to the power of 2. So first we treat this as a product because these are our two outermost functions. So we do the derivative of the first times the second plus the derivative of the second. And remember, the derivative of the second, you have to use a chain rule. So this actually becomes 2x plus 1, which is a 1 here, and then the derivative in the middle, which is just 1, times the first, sine of x.
Hi guys. In the last example, Tiani showed you what happens when you have two functions multiplied together and one of them involves the chain rule. In that case, you use product rule followed by chain rule. In my example, we're going to look at a very similar looking function where you have to use chain rule and then product rule. Let's check it out. So, let's start out with d over dx of x minus 1 times sine of x, all inside the square. So, just as Tiani outlined before, let's notice that this is one function multiplied by another function, all inside the outermost function, which is the squared function. That didn't make any sense. Whee! All right. So, how are we going to derive this, you may ask yourself? Well, going from outermost activity to innermost activity, let's start with the chain rule. That's going to be take the derivative of the outside function with respect to whatever is inside the function. So x minus 1 times sine x. Then multiply that. Here, let's make this green so you see where it's coming from. Then multiply that by the derivative of the inside. And to find the derivative of the inside, which is a product, we need to use the product rule. So, let's say that's x minus 1 times the derivative of sine x, plus sine x times the derivative of x plus 1. And when we solve all that out, we'll get 2x sine x minus 2 sine x all of that times x cosine x minus cosine x plus sine x. Let's put a nice big circle around that. Again, in this case, we went chain rule followed by product rule on the inside. Thanks for listening.